my beloved child. In this moment, while the wind is still breathing softly through the leaves, while the light of day has not yet faded but no longer holds the wholeness of the morning, I draw near to you in a way that only an awakened soul perceives. I do not come with thunder, nor with flashes of lightning, but like a gentle echo gliding over still waters, inviting you to incline your heart and listen to what I have held within mine long before you ever walked the earth. You are standing before a sacred threshold that many desire but few have ever touched. For only those who have walked through darkness, yet still bow to seek the light, possess the softness required to receive this invitation. I have seen you in the hours when you thought you were forgotten, when you believed no one noticed the heaviness settling on your shoulders like layers of dust. Yet even in those moments, my hand rested upon you, just as it rested on Samuel while the boy slept beside the ark. Unaware of the voice of the Lord, you believed my presence was distant. But in truth, I was so near that the slightest turn of your heart would have revealed how long I had been standing beside you. Today, I do not come merely to soothe you with pleasant words and then leave you in the same worn space of worry. I come to awaken, to stir, to call you out of the mist you have grown so accustomed to that you began to mistake it for the natural breath of life. You have walked too long in a rhythm where your soul could no longer feel the movements surrounding it. But I tell you now that there is a stirring, one not born of earthly confusion but of heaven opening above you. I have issued commands to forces you thought were immovable. I have set direction for invisible currents to converge at the very place where you stand. Just as I once caused the east wind to blow through the night to part the Red Sea so my people could cross without their feet touching the water. What I am preparing for you does not operate according to human schedules, nor does it depend on the doors men choose to open or close. It flows from eternal wisdom, from a plan written into the marrow of time itself before the first sunrise touched the earth. I know your mind has wavered many times. I know you have wondered whether you still belong in the story of God, whether you have been pushed outside the pathway of blessing because you stumbled a few times, grew weary in a few seasons, or stayed silent too long out of fear of burdening others. But I declare to you, you have never slipped from my sight. I have followed every breath, every tightness in your chest, every moment you curled inward so no one would see the storm raging inside. You thought I was silent, yet I stood beside your bed on the nights when you could do nothing but stare at the ceiling and swallow the question. When will my life change? I heard that question, not as a complaint, but as the quiet cry of a heart searching for a way out. And in that very moment, I determined that when the appointed time arrived, I would bring you out of the land of weariness and into a season of exhale, of clarity, of a quiet joy deeper than any song. What I want you to see is this: you are not standing here by accident, not because a few lines of text happened to appear before your eyes, but because my hand has led you through countless crossroads, countless unnamed decisions, countless losses you no longer wish to recall, so that today you would stand in the exact place I intended for you. There were moments when you looked back and thought your life was nothing but layers of regret, but I proclaim not a single step of yours has been wasted. As I led my people through the wilderness, not to punish them, but to prepare them for the promised land, I have led you through winding years to shape you, soften you, and strip away what cannot walk with you into the season ahead. No tear has fallen without watering a seed. No sigh has dissolved into the wind without becoming a line I inscribed on the pages of your destiny. And now, in this moment that appears ordinary, I am pulling back the veil so you may see what your natural eyes could not. Heaven is leaning toward you. Movements have already taken place in the unseen realm. movements that would overwhelm you if I showed them fully, but I reveal just enough for you to sense the holiness of this time. I am allowing you to step onto ground that not many are permitted to tread, because your heart, though wounded, betrayed, dismissed, still holds the humility I delight in. You do not realize that this quiet endurance of yours rose like a petition from earth to heaven, and that your unseen faithfulness made the gates above tremble. Today, I am not calling you merely to offer comfort. I am calling you to receive a covenant, and this covenant does not rest on your worthiness, but on my unchanging nature, the same nature that called Abraham from his tent into a promise too vast for human sight, that called Moses from a burning bush into a mission no one believed a fugitive could carry, that called Gideon while he hid his grain, and gave him victory not by numbers but by power from above. That same voice, my voice, is calling you now, a voice that empowers, elevates, positions, and rebuilds. Do not worry about being enough. I have never chosen those who were already enough. I choose those whom I, myself, will make enough. I do not ask you to be strong, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. I do not ask you to be wise, for I will be the light upon your path. I do not ask you to be flawless, for it is through the cracks in your clay vessel that my light will shine for others to see. What I desire from you is only this: a nod from your heart, a whispered yes no one else hears, a single step forward even if your feet tremble. When you do this, what has long seemed unmoving will begin to shift. Therefore, my child, see this moment as the beginning of a new movement, not one initiated by you, but by me. You do not have to open the door that lies ahead. I have opened it. You do not have to force yourself into the new field. I will lead you into it. You do not need to guess what is coming, for I myself will make it clear. Only do this one thing: do not drift away from me. Remain in this calling, the way a branch remains in the vine if it is to bear fruit. For today I declare something holy is beginning, and you are the one I have chosen to step into it. My child, as you stand in this stillness, allow your spirit to sense the gentle yet solemn breath of eternity resting upon you. I know that the deepest part of your heart is not defined by the fear of loss or the inner struggles you try so hard to conceal, but by a quiet longing, a longing to understand the meaning behind every trial you have endured, to perceive why I led you through paths so narrow and uneven. You have walked through seasons where faith felt like a thin layer of ember on the verge of going out. You have stood at crossroads where it seemed as if one wrong breath could cause everything to collapse. Yet, my child, it is precisely in those moments that I saw the true light within your soul, the kind of light no storm can extinguish. The world judges strength by appearances, determining who is worthy and who is not, but I look at the moment you trembled and still refused to let go of me. And that very moment made all of heaven tremble. You think I was distant because change did not come immediately. But in truth, I was present in every step you took, even when your feet dragged forward in exhaustion. You could not see me because your eyes were blurred by tears. No one else noticed. But I stood there sometimes right beside your bed, sometimes in the corner of the room where you sat in silence, sometimes in the very breath you thought carried no meaning. Every wordless cry you released touched me. I gathered each tremor of your soul as though collecting drops of dew from the blades of grass before dawn. Not one sob was lost in the air. Not one moment of emptiness slipped into oblivion. You believed you were alone in those minutes, but my angels surrounded you, lifting the atmosphere around you so that your heartache would not tear you apart. You did not recognize it because you have grown used to equating strength with unbrokenness, But true strength is not the absence of breaking. It is looking toward me even after you have broken. Today, I want you to understand a truth I have been preparing you for over many years. The very places you thought were your weakest are the places where my power longs to shine the brightest. You once believed your wounds diminished you, but I see them as windows through which my light pours in. You once feared disappointment would suffocate hope, but in reality, it softened the ground of your heart so the seed could grow. You once cried because you were not skilled enough, fast enough, or strong enough to hold on to opportunities that slipped away. But I tell you, everything that left you was never meant to remain in the blueprint I have for your life, and everything I keep for you will arrive in its right time, in its right form, never a moment too late. Do not forget you were not designed to live in confusion forever. You were not created to see life through eyes that constantly question whether I truly see you. I have written every chapter of your story with the meticulous care of one who never overlooks a detail. Before you knew your own name, I knew it. When you uttered your first sounds, I heard them. When you took your first steps on the earth, I watched. And when you grew, weathering years that appeared calm on the outside yet stormy within, I kept my hand on your shoulder in ways no one else could perceive. Not a single day of your life has ever been empty before me. I know there were things you longed for so intensely your heart almost broke, but I withheld them because they would have led your soul away from my protection. There were people you tried to hold on to, but I removed them so they would not become stones that blocked your steps. There were opportunities you believed were your only chance, but I closed them because walking through them would have cost you pieces of peace I refused to let anyone touch. You did not understand then, but now I want you to see everything I did not allow you to keep was an act of protection. And now is the moment I open the eyes of your spirit so you may sense not only my presence but the heartbeat of heaven intertwining with your own. There are quiet movements rising within you, like underground springs just before a new stream breaks forth. You cannot see it yet, but you will feel it. You do not understand it yet, but your soul has begun to perceive something different, like a door cracking open where you once thought there was only stone. Like a thin light slipping through a fissure you didn't dare hope still existed. Do you feel the gentle trembling within your inner being? That trembling does not come from fleeting emotion. It is the signal of my spirit. My beloved child, I am drawing you closer not to test you further, but to prepare you for the portion I have long reserved for you. What I am arranging for you will not resemble anything you have previously received, because it is not merely a change of circumstances but a repositioning of identity. I do not want you to step into your future with an old mindset, with a scarred heart, with the narrow beliefs others have placed upon you. I want you to step forward with a new awareness that you belong to me, that you are held, that you are chosen, that you are prepared, that you are covered by a purpose greater than yourself. There are reasons you have felt a deep stirring in recent days, as though an invisible hand has rested upon your chest, whispering, "Awaken, that is me. I am calling you out of the cycle of fear, out of the dust of doubt, out of the memories that once held you captive. You are not what happened to you. You are not what others said about you. You are not the sum of what you once feared. You are the one I called by name before the foundations of the world were formed. Your moment is drawing nearer than ever before, and you must understand that it will not arrive as random fortune, but as the fulfillment of a long process I have orchestrated in silence. The days you persevered, the seasons you refused to give up, the moments where you chose to trust instead of breaking these, have all built the foundation for this hour. None of your sacrifices vanished. None of your steps in the night were wasted movements. They were all measured, recorded, and woven into the eternal rhythm whose outcome you are about to see. So open your heart like dry ground, meeting the first rains of the season. Do not shrink back into old shadows. Do not avoid the light, for fear it will expose wounds not yet healed. I know every wound. I touch every place. I call every part. And I declare it is time for what you thought had died to live again. For what you believed would never revive to rise. My beloved child, you are being drawn into a realm of light that only souls who have grown in dark valleys can enter without trembling. Every part of you, from the places hardened by time to the corners you avoided, is awakening. I do not awaken these places to frighten you, but to call them back into the life I intended for them from the beginning. You were not born to shrink. You were not born merely to survive each day with a weary mind. You were born to walk in light, to breathe peace, to know you belong to one who never abandons. I know you have tried to believe, tried to keep yourself from drowning. I tried to tell yourself you must be strong because no one else could carry what weighed upon you. But my child, the strength you thought was yours alone has been sustained each day, each hour, each night by my hand. Every breath you managed to keep steady, every moment you did not give up, every time you whispered, "I'm still here," all of them bear the imprint of my support beneath you. You have asked me many times in silence, at times in frustration, at times in helplessness, why is everything taking so long? Why must I walk such winding paths? Why can't I see what I've prayed for sooner? You believed. My silence meant unwillingness to respond. But in truth, I was preparing the foundation for something far larger than what you asked for. There are things I cannot give you before you are ready, not because I want you to endure more, but because I will never allow a blessing to become a burden. You mistook delay for neglect. But in my kingdom, time is a deliberate current. It shapes, it teaches, it clarifies, it filters, it awakens. You were not delayed to be punished. You were delayed to be prepared. Just as gold must pass through fire, as seeds must rest beneath the soil, as sprouts must endure darkness before breaking into the sun. You too have undergone this process, and now the seed within you is beginning to split its old shell and rise. I see every fracture within your heart, and it is precisely because I see them that I draw nearer. You have allowed too many human words to define you, too many failures to blur your vision, too many moments of being overlooked to grow into doubt about your true worth. But I say this to you, your value does not come from the praise or silence of others. It comes from the breath I placed in you at the beginning. Nothing can steal that from you. No circumstance can dim the light I placed within you. No criticism can replace the name I have spoken over you. I did not create you to be a replica of your pain, nor to live as a small punctuation mark in someone else's story. I formed you to be a full stream of light, flowing through dark places and proving that darkness never determines the final word. When I share my light with someone, I do not do it without purpose. I placed my light in you because I know you have lived enough nights to understand the worth of dawn. One who has never wept in the dark cannot treasure the morning light. But you are different. You have walked through enough shadows to know that even the faintest ray is worth guarding. That is why I chose you to bear witness to what is coming. Not because you are perfect, not because you are the strongest, not because you make the fewest mistakes, but because you did not give up. You kept your soul alive even on days when escape felt impossible, and that perseverance opened a door not many are entrusted to walk through. I reward endurance more than talent. I honor faithfulness more than loud victories, and you have been faithful in the hours no one saw. The shift has begun, not loudly, not chaotically, not with dramatic signs, but gently like the warmth of the rising sun slowly spreading across the land at dawn. You do not need to see the sun to know it is rising. You only need to sense the subtle change in the air. Your spirit is sensing that change now. It is not a momentary emotion or self-comfort. It is the result of the door I am opening before you. What you once believed immovable is starting to stir. The prayers you thought the wind carried away are gathering into streams flowing toward you. The long seasons of silence are closing like a chapter ready to turn. Can you feel the rhythm within your heart shifting? It is the rhythm of hope resurrecting, the rhythm of truth pushing back the shadows, the rhythm of a promise beginning to bloom. You do not need to force anything at this moment. What I desire is that you remain calm. Open your heart and allow me to hold your hand as you step through this threshold. I will not let you step alone. I never lead you to a doorway, only to require you to cross by your own strength. Like a father guiding a child taking their first steps, I will hold you when the moment of transition arrives. All I ask for is a gentle readiness to release what has expired, readiness to welcome what is new, readiness to trust me once more, this time deeper, more fully, not through the lens of your understanding, but through the assurance that I have never abandoned you and never will. My child, remember this as a memory that never fades. The places of deepest pain within you are the very places where I am about to breathe new life. Everything you thought had gone out will burn again. Everything you believed was lost will be restored in ways you did not expect. Everything you accepted as an ending, I will turn into a beginning. I do not recycle your life, I renew it. I do not patch the torn fabric, I weave it anew. You are standing at a threshold where the past will no longer dictate your future. As you cross, every old limitation will fall away like a garment that has grown too small. And now, a new chapter is beginning, one that carries my mark, one no one can erase, diminish, or obstruct. Your name is engraved in this plan, and no power can remove what I have sealed. Be at peace, for you are in the right time, the right place, the right season, and I am stepping into it with you. As you cross the gentle threshold I prepared long before this moment, I want to take you deeper into the essence of the journey you are about to live, not through vague impressions, nor through fragile, wavering hope, but through clarity ignited by my spirit, illuminating what natural sight cannot grasp. From the moment you opened your heart to me, the atmosphere around you shifted. The spiritual air grew heavier with purpose, and you began to sense delicate but undeniable movements, like the faint rippling of still water stirred by a distant wind. I do not call you to stand at the shore, merely observing those waves, and then return to your old life. I call you to step into the very center of that movement, so you may understand that what I am about to accomplish is not simply the transformation of a circumstance, but the reshaping of your very soul, placing you into a new trajectory, far beyond the old limits you once believed were your destiny. Listen deeply now, for in this moment I am not only speaking through words, but through the very rhythm of your heartbeat. Have you ever noticed that whenever I am about to do something great, your soul becomes more sensitive to the unseen realm? You find yourself suddenly quiet in the midst of noise, not because you are tired, but because something is calling you. You sense that old thoughts no longer fit the new stature I am forming within you. You realize that the fears that once controlled you have begun to loosen, not because you grew stronger by yourself, but because I am reshaping the internal structure of your being from the inside out. My child, this is not an illusion, nor is it a fleeting emotion. It is the sign that you have stepped into the appointed time I ordained for you. and what belongs to you has begun to breathe. You have grown accustomed to seeing life through the eyes of self-protection, always anticipating unexpected blows, always bracing yourself because of disappointments that leave deep cuts in your heart. You learned to protect yourself through silence, through shrinking inward, through refusing to hope again so you wouldn't be hurt once more. But my child, I declare this: it is time to lay down those old armors, not because you no longer need protection, but because I, myself, will become your new covering. I will be your fortress, your shade, the shield that wraps around your soul. You no longer have to strain as you once did, no longer have to prove yourself, no longer have to maintain your peace alone, no longer have to carry the weight of the world on your own shoulders. I am here to carry what is heaviest. You need only let me do it. Look back on the years when you thought you were unseen, not to feel sorrow, but to recognize something you once never dared to imagine. That very invisibility became the classroom where I taught you things that daylight could never teach. When you were pushed out of conversations, I was teaching you how to hear my voice in silence. When you were overlooked, I was teaching you that true worth does not come from human attention. When you stood in the background, I was preparing you for a role no one else could fulfill. You thought you were being held back, but you were actually being shielded from battles not meant for the maturity level of your spirit at that time. You thought you were hidden away, but I was refining you the way a smith keeps a blade in the fire a little longer, so that when it enters battle, it will not break. There were prayers you offered that I did not answer immediately, not because I ignored you, but because I was crafting a response far beyond what you could imagine. You asked for a small door to open so you could breathe easier, but I was constructing a new path. You asked for a drop of water in your thirst, but I was carving out a spring. You asked for a moment of peace, but I was preparing an entire river of tranquility to pour into your inner world. I do not answer according to what you think is sufficient. I answer according to the standard of one who sees the end of every sorrow and knows exactly what is needed for the fullness of your journey. How many times did you think I did not hear? How many times did you let my silence make you step back? But today, I want you to understand that my silence is not distance. My silence is where I work most powerfully, deeply, and precisely. When I am silent, it does not mean I have left. It means I am planting what cannot be planted amid noise. Just as the seed breaks open in the dark, just as life forms in the hiddenness of the womb, my silence is where promises take shape. And now, as my voice begins to resound more clearly in your spirit, it is the sign that the season of fulfillment is drawing near. Remember this: nothing I do is rushed. Everything in my kingdom has rhythm, has cycle, has a divinely chosen moment. When you think you are standing still, you are actually being positioned. When you think you are slowing down, you are actually being aligned with a new path. The recent stirrings you have felt are not random, are they? You see old things suddenly no longer fitting you, relationships losing their harmony, familiar thoughts becoming too heavy, too small, that is, because I am pulling you away from what does not belong to your future. I am making you larger than the version of yourself you knew yesterday. I am expanding your sight, your faith, your capacity, so that you can hold what I am about to give. If you carry old thinking into a new season, you will not be able to sustain what I pour out. That is why I am reshaping your inner structures, pruning branches that bear no fruit, erasing distorted images of yourself that the world has projected onto you for years. You are no longer the person of your previous season. You have matured in the quiet furnace of trials, and now I am bringing you into the place of unveiling. And this is what I want you to understand above all: you are being ushered into a sacred hour that not everyone will perceive. It is an hour marked in the spiritual realm, an hour where my plan and your steps intersect at one ordained point. When this hour opens, things that once resisted will yield, barriers that once stood firm will crumble, doors that seemed permanently sealed will swing open before you without your force, not because you tried harder, but because I decreed it so. My beloved child, when you stand in the threshold between what is dying away and what is being formed, I want you to grasp the depth of the transformation I am performing. It is not a partial change. It is a complete restructuring of your soul, just as I once breathed life into the first form in Eden and caused dust to become a living being. I am doing the same within you, breathing into the places that have dried out, watering the landscapes of your inner wilderness, awakening dormant seeds and causing them to rise with such strength that you yourself will be astonished when you look back. You may not realize it yet, but in these recent days, your spirit has become more sensitive, as though an unseen door has opened and you have begun to perceive the movements of heaven, a rhythm not loud, yet unmistakably clear to those who keep their hearts still enough to listen. Your mind feels wider, your perception deeper, your breath calmer, your faith warmer. These are the signs that I am touching the deepest parts of you. There were things you believed were permanent limits, walls you accepted as the end of your path, dreams you thought belonged only to others, doors you believed would never open for you, promises that seemed suspended forever, unreachable. But I declare all of these are being dismantled at the root. I am not merely giving you away around the limitations. I am collapsing the entire structure that once held you back, breaking apart the hardened layers of doubt that encased your soul. When I open a door, no one can shut it, and when I declare that you shall enter, no power can contend for what is yours. Do you know why you have recently felt like someone standing in a fullness of waiting, not the weary waiting of former years, but the swelling tension of the earth before a great rain, heavy, dense, but full of promise? It is because I have drawn near. You cannot see me with your eyes, but your soul feels the warmth of my approach. What I am doing is not coming from afar. It is being placed directly into the center of your life, piece by piece. Every quiet shift in your spirit carries one message: prepare, for I am entering. You are not imagining this. It is not sudden emotion. It is the confirmation that the promise I planted in you has not died. And now is the moment it begins to rise through the soil of long seasons of testing. You have lived too long behind walls built from fear of pain, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. You constructed those walls to survive, and they served you for a time. But now I declare that they no longer fit the trajectory of your future. I am not calling you into wide fields so you can carry the fortress of your past into them. You cannot step into a new season with a mind shaped by old wounds. You cannot receive my abundance with hands still clutching the fragments of disappointment. Therefore, I am helping you release not everything, but everything that has reached its expiration in your life. I never remove anything without giving something greater, deeper, and more enduring in return. You once thought your endurance was merely a form of survival, but in my eyes, it has been one of the most beautiful expressions of worship. You did not know that every time you kept walking despite your tangled heart, every time you whispered a prayer despite the weight on your chest, every time you opened your eyes each morning without giving up, those became sacred offerings in my temple. People only saw your ordinary footsteps, but I saw the fierce effort behind every breath. They did not know what you were fighting, but I knew. And it is because of those hidden battles that I am now shifting everything around you. I have called your name not just once, but many times. Yet today, you hear it more clearly because your heart has softened through the long days of testing. Softened does not mean weakened. Softened means ready. You have entered the time when my call no longer touches only your ears, but pierces your soul, revealing that nothing you lived through was meaningless. No tears were wasted. No sigh was wasted. No slow step was wasted. All of it has risen as a response from heaven. I know there are days when you feel frozen inside a reality that never seems to change, when you want to run but your feet will not move. When you want to try but your heart is already tired. When you want to believe but fear keeps pulling you backward. Yet it is precisely in those days that I have sown new seeds of hope into your soul. Seeds you did not even know were there. Now they are breaking through. They are growing. They are shaping your future. The season you have been waiting for is no longer a long, exhausting straight line. It is turning into a curve that leads you to the place I promised. I know you have asked me at night, is there any hope left? And today I declare, yes, there is. And that hope is alive. It is growing. It is about to blossom into something that will leave you standing still in holy awe. You thought you were standing in a dry land, but in truth, you have been standing over an underground stream of heaven. And with a single word from me, that hidden water will break forth, not drop by drop, but as a river. Therefore, do not be afraid of the tremors you are feeling. They have not come to destroy, but to set you free. Do not be confused by the old doors that are closing. They are shutting because the right door is about to open. Do not be anxious when you find yourself drifting away from what once felt familiar. That is because I am drawing you closer to what has belonged to you from the very beginning. You are not being pushed to the margins. You are being moved into the center. And I say this to you with solemnity, every arrangement is coming closer than you think. You do not have to chase them. They are moving toward you. You do not need to fight for them. You only need to stand firm. You do not need to fear. You only need to believe. I am doing what no one can dispute and no power can stop. And you yourself will be the first to feel that holy explosion within your heart before it unfolds on the outside. My child, you once thought the upheavals in your soul were merely emotional reactions. But I tell you, they are the very movement of my spirit, awakening parts that have been asleep, shaking places that have remained silent for too long, so that you will be able to stand when the new door swings fully open. Take note of this, what you have been sensing in these recent days, the gentle yet persistent stirring, the quiet yet profound stillness, the feeling that a source of strength is shifting from far to near. All of it is not random. These are the first signals that you have entered the orbit of the season. I destined for you from a time when you did not yet understand why you were created. You have heard me call you many times, but this time is different. It is no longer merely a call for you to stand firm in the midst of trials. This is the call for you to rise. I do not only want you to survive, I want you to emerge. I do not only want you to keep what I have given, I want you to bring forth what I have placed within you. You are not just someone who has been rescued, you are someone who carries a mandate. And for that reason I have allowed you to walk a path many cannot understand, because they look from the outside and see only hardship, while I look from within and see the unfolding of the identity I planted in you from the dawn of creation. Do you remember those seasons when you felt utterly exhausted? Those were the very places where I sowed into you what calm days could never teach. When you sat alone in a dark room, swallowing the wounds no one saw, I was laying down a new layer of perseverance in your soul. When you were misunderstood by others, I was teaching you how to stand without needing anyone to vindicate you. When you walked alone because those you trusted turned away, I was placing within you a capacity for discernment that you will need for the journey ahead. When you trembled, unsure of what tomorrow would bring, I was teaching you to lift your eyes to me instead of your circumstances. Not a single moment in those valleys was meaningless. All of them have been shaping a strength you will need in the season I have ordained. There are parts of you that you thought had died, but I am breathing new life into them. The dreams you hid away because you believed you were unworthy, I am awakening them again. The faith you lost because of too many blows, I am rebuilding it. The smiles you thought would never return, I am bringing them back in a fuller, deeper way. The things you laid down just to survive, I will return to you in forms you never imagined. You thought I would only heal you, but no. I also desire to restore you, to increase you, to enrich your life with gifts no one can steal or compete for. My child, you are not entering a random season, but one crafted specifically for you. I have aligned everything to converge at this very moment. The people who needed to leave your life have gone. The ones who need to come in are drawing near. The opportunities that have been shut for so long are beginning to move. The doors that stayed motionless are loosening on their hinges. You may not see the whole picture, but you can feel each layer of change. Just as leaves begin to tremble lightly before a storm arrives, your spirit is trembling before my glory is revealed. You do not need to know everything. You only need to know that I am at work, and what I am preparing to give you is not based on your perfection, nor on your moments of success. It is based on my faithfulness and your steadfast heart in the days when all you had left were a few fragile drops of trust. I have seen you keep praying when you felt nothing. I have seen you choose what is right when you are weary. I have seen you refuse to let go of me when you were convinced I was silent. And I tell you the truth, heaven never ignores a faithful soul. Your hidden prayers have gathered like clouds, heavy with water, and the time has come for them to pour down. You thought that when the answer came, it would arrive with loud noise, swift results, and dramatic change. But my child, I do not need spectacle to prove my power. I work in silence, yet my silence is strong enough to move mountains without a sound. Have you noticed? What I am about to do for you will come like the dawn. No one hears the sun rise, but its light changes everything. So do not be alarmed if, lately, you feel yourself drifting away from what once was familiar. Do not fear if old doors close before new ones open. Do not be confused if you feel as though you are standing at a hazy crossroads. That is the sign that I am shifting you from the realm of mere survival into the realm of purpose. You are no longer living just to make it through. You are living to fulfill what I have entrusted to you. I want you to believe this. Your life is not going in circles. It follows a designed path, a path with valleys where you learn humility, mountains where you learn to stand, wilderness where you learn to hear me, and green pastures where you find rest. And now you are stepping into the land of unveiling. The long years of seeming silence will begin to speak. Promises that once felt far away will draw near. Questions that once ached within you will find their answers. The things you once feared will lose their power over you. In the days to come, you will see my hand at work, not only around you, but through you. I will use your voice to strengthen others. I will use your story to open the eyes of those in despair. I will use your restoration as a living testimony that I abandoned no one. And one day, you will look back at your former self and say, if it had not been for the Lord, I would not still be standing today. My child, when you step into the morning of your new season, you will begin to notice that something is quietly changing in the atmosphere around you, a gentle yet profound movement. like the heartbeat of the heavens, syncing with the rhythm of your own. You are not imagining it. It is the reality of the spiritual realm descending to meet your earthly life. I want you to understand that a new season does not begin at the moment you receive outward blessings, but at the moment your spirit awakens within. And you have felt that awakening in these recent days, when your heart suddenly becomes more sensitive, more still, more open to things you once considered ordinary. I declare to you that very sensitivity is the first sign that you are entering the appointed time I set aside for you. A time engraved upon the scrolls of history from the moment I breathed life into your form. There are things I must complete in the spiritual realm before you see them take shape in the natural world. And now all preparations have been finished. When you wonder why your heart feels stirred for no apparent reason, it is because the layers of cloud are shifting to make way for my light to break through your life. When you sense that something is approaching, it is because angels are moving in your direction, carrying the answers you have held tightly in your heart through long months of waiting. When you find yourself no longer afraid of what once made you tremble, it is because I have placed within your soul a new courage, one not born from your own strength but from my protection, resting over every step you take. I desire to lift you higher, and to do that, I must teach you to let go of the anchors of old seasons. The moments when you felt lost were not signs that I abandoned you. They were moments when I was cutting away the things that cannot accompany you into what comes next. Do you remember when you asked, "Why does everything feel so quiet, so heavy, so still?" My truth is this, that stillness was not stagnation, it was preparation. In that silence, I repositioned you. In that silence, I removed the old from your life without harming you. In that silence, I planted seeds you did not know you carried. What you mistook for a setback was actually the runway I was building beneath your feet. You once saw yourself as someone standing at the margins, but I declare you are not an extra in the story I am writing. You are the character I placed in the exact chapter. The exact moment, the exact position to reveal what I desire to reveal. Others may overlook your worth, but I see it. Others may miss your depth because they only look at the surface, but I see into the heart. Others may dismiss you, but I have chosen you for the very things no one else sees: your endurance, your gentleness despite wounds, your whispered prayers when there was no one left to lean on. None of these have been forgotten. I have recorded them all, and now I am turning them into the foundation upon which I will release what I have prepared for you. What is coming is not a small reward, it is a fundamental transformation. You will not only walk out of fear, you will step into strength. You will not only escape lack, you will step into abundance. You will not only survive trials, you will step into calling. Everything you have gone through was not meant to paralyze you, but to refine you. The tears you thought were wasted have watered the soil of your spirit. The sleepless nights that no one knew about have become the material I use to build resilience within you. The moments when you forced a smile through pain have become proof that your heart did not break. It was being reshaped to receive blessing. Look back on your journey and see that not a single step was meaningless. Those who left your life created the space needed for those who belong to your future. The doors that closed protected you from paths that would have harmed you. What you lost was not an ending, it was a release. And now, I am drawing you into the land of increase where you no longer struggle merely to survive, but where you live by my guidance, step by step, breath by breath, day by day, hour by hour. I have seen you ask, do I have enough strength to continue? And I answer you, you are not continuing by your own strength. I will be the one who lifts your steps. I will be the one who opens the path. I will be the one who completes what I began in you. I am not the one who places someone on a journey only to abandon them midway. I did not breathe life into you to leave you when you stumble. I did not lead you into a wilderness to let you die of thirst. I am the one who leads, the one who protects, the one who provides, the one who walks with every beat of your heart. And now, I want you to prepare your heart like someone who is about to step onto a higher platform, not a platform lit by the harsh brightness of human praise, but one illuminated by heaven itself, the kind of light that dissolves every shadow within you, that pushes away every doubt that once held you back, that seals every old wound with my anointing. You will find yourself speaking words you have never spoken, standing in places you never dreamed you could stand, carrying a peace you have never known. And that peace will not come from circumstances, it will come from my very presence, flowing around you like warm waters moving gently through your soul. You will also begin to recognize that I am drawing toward you those whose spiritual frequency resonates with yours. New relationships will begin to grow like young trees after the rain, strong and healthy, not built on need, but on alignment in purpose and direction. I do not want you to remain attached to those who cannot see what I have placed within you. I am changing the circle around you so that you will no longer be pulled back by the voices of your past. I am arranging a company of people who will walk with you in your calling, people who are not jealous of your light, who do not doubt your calling, but who uphold you, encourage you, and move with you in obedience to my voice. And when you feel yourself standing before a great threshold, do not tremble. I am right beside you. I do not demand perfection from you. I only invite you to step forward with a tender, trusting heart. Where you are weak, I will complete. Where you are shaky, I will make firm. Where you doubt, I will reveal myself. When you place your trust in me, you are not stepping into a fog of uncertainty. You are stepping into a light I have already kindled ahead of you. Believe this, I have brought you here to change your story. And your story will no longer revolve around lack, but around abundance. No longer revolve around wounding, but around healing. No longer revolve around struggle, but around rising. My child, your time has opened. I have laid my hand upon your forehead and breathed new life into your soul. And now you are about to see what you once only dared to imagine softly in your hidden prayers. My beloved child, I want to lead you to see something greater than anything your mind has ever conceived. The rebuilding within you is unfolding with every beat, quietly yet powerfully, like the roots of a great tree reaching deeper into the earth to find new sources of life. You cannot see the roots grow, yet the life of the tree depends entirely on what is unseen. In the same way, the movements within you in these recent days are not random stirrings. They are signs that every deep layer of your soul is being refounded according to the design I laid out long ago. Listen closely, I am making your inner being more stable before the blessing appears, so that when what I give arrives, you will not be shaken by pressure, not swept away by what is unfamiliar, and not confused by changes that come quickly. I do not only want you to receive blessing, I want you to carry it, keep it, steward it, and become a channel through which it flows into the lives of others. Look back over these past months. There were mornings when you woke with a weariness you could not explain. Nights when you lay awake, feeling as though your soul were being pulled in many directions you could not understand. You thought it was exhaustion, but I declare it was a sign that the old structure was being dismantled so the new could take its place. The things that once defined who you were in the previous season have completed their assignment. Many old ways of thinking, old emotions, old reactions have been used fully and cannot travel with you into the season. I am opening. I am not erasing your past. I am lifting it up and refining it into a stronger, deeper, brighter foundation. I am not removing what you have lived through. I am turning those very things into evidence that you were forged in fire and not consumed. That you walked through storms and were not swept away. That you journeyed through dark days and did not lose your direction. No transition into a new season comes without shaking you from the inside out. You have already begun to notice that some of the things you once clung to in desperation no longer hold the same weight in your heart. You no longer feel compelled to save relationships that have drifted out of orbit. You no longer feel driven to fix doors I have already closed. You no longer strain to persuade those who will never understand what I have placed within you. My child, that is the sign of maturity, the sign that you are stepping out of the shadows and into the light I have prepared. The new peace rising in you does not come from ease of circumstance, but from the fact that your soul has begun to listen to the rhythm of my heart. You are slowly learning that my silence is not abandonment but arrangement, that my slowing is not refusal but alignment. You are learning a deep lesson. Few ever learn to trust me when you hear nothing, to trust me when there is no sign, to trust me when the sky is heavy with clouds and the path ahead shows no light. My child, the transformation taking place inside you in this season is not small. It is so powerful that one day, when you look back, even you will be amazed at who you have become. You will see that the things that once confused you no longer rule over you. The voices that once made you question your worth will fall silent in your mind. The wounds that once kept you chained to the past will become small seeds that sprout into wisdom, perseverance, and a deep kindness that only those who have walked through pain can carry. I never waste a single tear of yours. I use each one to water new ground, where what belongs to me will grow. I want you to understand something very subtle yet profoundly important. Blessing does not come only to change your life. It comes to make you a living testimony that I am still at work in this world. Therefore, before I place something great in your hands, I must first place depth within your soul. What I am giving you is not something fragile. It cannot rest on a shallow inner life, cannot stand on temporary self-confidence, cannot thrive in an atmosphere of comparison or fear. That is why I led you through months and years known only to you and me. That is why I held you back when you felt restrained. That is why I did not allow certain doors to open too soon. Because had you stepped in too early, they would have swallowed you. I never intend for blessing to become a burden. I intend it to be an instrument that helps you rise, expand, and shine. Do you sense, lately, a new strength emerging within you, a gentle yet durable confidence, a courage that did not originate from you, yet now lives in you, a steadiness you cannot fully explain? All of these are not passing emotions. They are the beginning of the takeoff point I am preparing for you. The things that once made you tremble, you will face with a strange, quiet peace. The things that once frightened you, you will look at through the eyes of someone who knows they are protected. The things you used to avoid, you will confront without shrinking back. I have changed you from the inside before I changed the circumstances around you. That inner change will keep you steady when I open the very things you once begged me for with all your heart. I am sharpening your mind so you can distinguish between my voice and the voice of doubt. I am enlarging your heart so you can carry more, love more, forgive more, hope more. I am increasing your endurance so that the tests to come will no longer shake you as they once did. I am building in you a spiritual sensitivity so that when you step into the places I assign you, you will recognize opportunity, recognize danger, Recognize my grace, and recognize those I have placed beside you to walk with you. And before long, you will clearly see that everything has taken its appointed place. The questions you once carried will fade, not because you have found all the answers, but because you are no longer bound by them. The inner battles that once drained you will settle like the sea after a storm. The things you thought you could never overcome will stand as evidence that I always intervened at the right time. You will no longer see yourself as a wounded one, but as one who has survived and grown strong. You will no longer look at the future through fear, but through expectation. You will no longer see your dreams as distant illusions, but as realities drawing near. This is the moment in which I am resetting the order of your soul, so that when I open doors on the outside, you will step through them without trembling, without confusion, without hesitation, but with the steady heart of one who knows they are being led by the one who never makes a mistake. My child, the new season is opening, and your soul has already gone ahead to touch it. My beloved child, your soul has stepped into a sacred expanse that only those refined through fire can truly understand. What you have been feeling in these recent days, the silence so deep it feels holy, the heaviness that is not sorrow, the brightness that is not of the mind, this is the atmosphere of final preparation. Not preparation for survival, but for emergence. Not preparation to endure, but to step into glory. You are no longer in the phase of warming up, you are at the threshold. And I say this with solemnity, no one can cross this threshold for you. You must be the one who steps forward, with the feet I have upheld and the eyes I have opened. The quiet around you is not emptiness, it is the space where I am placing the final notes to the symphony you are about to hear. Slowing down is not delay. It is the breath of heaven descending in rhythm with your heart so that you will not be overwhelmed when the door swings open suddenly. The soft yet persistent fatigue you feel is not weakness. It is your soul adjusting to the new frequency of my grace being poured over you. The sudden sensitivity awakening in you is not sharper intuition. It is my hand removing the dust from your spiritual sight so you may clearly behold what is about to unfold. You do not see it yet, but in the unseen realm, everything is ready. Let me reveal something to you. The transformation you are about to enter will not only change your circumstances, it will alter the way others perceive your life. Some thought you had stalled. Some assumed you had nothing left to give. Some believed you had fallen behind. But they did not understand that I held you back, not to shame you, but to shelter you under my wings until your appointed time arrived. Like a great tree that must send its roots deep before it rises tall, you too need time for your soul to anchor itself before I lift you to higher ground. What they mistook for delay was my protection. What they saw as failure was my preparation. What they interpreted as silence was the thunder of my movement behind the veil. Do you know why you have recently felt calmer when confronted with things that once troubled you? Because I have begun to place within you a peace that does not depend on circumstance. Do you know why the things that once crushed you no longer carry the same power? Because I broke their hold long before you realized they were not immovable walls. Do you know why you feel yourself changing in ways you cannot explain? Because your soul is being lifted layer by layer in the rhythm I designed for you. Not one moment of that process has been wasted, and not one step has been late. My child, when you step into this new season, you will no longer walk with the posture of one who has been wounded. You will walk as one who has been healed. You will no longer speak with the voice of fear, but with the voice of conviction. You will no longer carry the mindset of one rejected, but of one chosen. You will no longer treat your prayers as fragile echoes, but as intimate conversations between your heart and mine. I am awakening in you a new awareness of your identity, not the identity the world gave you, but the identity I wrote when I first formed you. This is why I am establishing you into someone who can stand without trembling, love without fear, and hope without hesitation. You are being given the strength of one who has passed through fire yet was not consumed. You are being given the steadiness of one who has passed through waters yet did not drown. You are being given the wisdom of one who has walked through darkness yet never lost the light. I used each of these places to build what the blessing ahead cannot buy: maturity. And that maturity will hold you in glory without losing yourself, will help you discern truth among countless false voices, will keep you upright while others sway, and will allow you to see my hand placing each gift into your life. The silence you feel now is like the breath taken just before the sea parts. The peace covering you is like the oil poured before you step into the place of your appointment. The weight in your spirit is like the gentle tremor of the earth shifting before the rain breaks forth. I am drawing near to your life, not with thunder, but with depth. I do not need noise to prove I am moving. I need only whisper. And the universe aligns with my voice. And soon, you will understand why these recent days unfolded exactly as they did. You will understand why I withheld certain things from arriving too soon. You will understand why I closed certain doors. You will understand why some people shifted out of your orbit. You will understand why I allowed you to move slower than others. You will understand why your silent tears fell. You will understand why I led you through the land of hush. And when you understand, you will no longer see your pain as meaningless. You will see it as the evidence of perfect preparation. I declare this as a seal upon you. You are standing at the edge of unveiling. Not a distant dream, not an abstract hope, not a promise spoken but never touched. A reality breaking open, a reality that will enter your life as naturally as breath, yet as powerfully as the first rains bursting onto dry soil. You no longer have to chase it, it is coming toward you. You no longer have to grasp for it, it is reaching for you. You no longer have to prove yourself worthy. I already proved it by choosing you. And when that moment comes, it will not come quietly. It will come like light piercing through the clouds. It will come like a wind shifting with the scent of new ground. It will come like a familiar call you have heard all your life but never understood. It will come like the answer to every prayer you thought was forgotten. It will come like the confirmation your soul has longed for. My beloved child, this is not merely a transition, it is the boundary between your former life and the life revealed by my deeper intention. You have walked through layers of inner preparation, places unseen by others, chambers of your soul, known only to you and me, and now I lead you to the first step of unveiling. Not the unveiling of something small, but of an entire era. Not the unveiling of a single answer, but of a new covenant I am establishing within your heart. My child, stand still and behold the atmosphere around you is shifting, like the earth stirring after a long winter. You think you alone have felt these tremors, but heaven has been responding to every step you take. Every movement you make now is watched, covered, sanctified. I will not let you enter this moment with empty hands. I am placing within your spirit things you did not know you needed. Let me tell you the first truth of this new season. You are not entering as someone barely rising from the ashes. You are entering as someone positioned. Positioned not by human effort, but by my decree. You do not need to earn your way in. My choosing of you is the evidence. No one can remove you from the place I have appointed. No one can dim the light I have placed upon you. No one can shrink the voice I am awakening within you. Those who dismissed you in the previous season will not recognize you in this one, not because you have changed for show, but because I have placed a divine authority upon you that natural eyes cannot perceive. You will step into places where you once stood on the margins. But this time you will not enter timidly. You will enter as one trained, refined, and sanctified by the trials I allowed. All those days when you felt yourself disappear among the crowds were not because you were forgotten, but because I hid you from eyes not ready to see what I was doing to you. I hid you so you would not be harmed by voices not aligned with me. I hid you so your spirit could mature in stillness. I hid you so you would not carry the noise of people into the foundation I was building within you. Now, I hide you no longer. The very essence of who you are is beginning to shine without effort. Others will notice the change before you do. I have touched your life with a peace the world cannot give. You think you are simply calmer, but in truth, you have been placed into an entirely new atmosphere, the atmosphere of wisdom, discernment, and unshakable stability. My child, the first step of a new season is not an outward action, it is the transformation of the way you see yourself. You have grown accustomed to viewing your life through the lens of what you lost, what people said, and the experiences that made you shrink back. But I declare that from this day forward, you must see yourself through my eyes. You are not a temporary patch of soil. You are a garden I have tended with my tears, with my mercy, with the kindness of my heart toward you. You are not a fragile candle. You are a pillar of light I have raised in the midst of darkness. You are not someone pushed backward. You are one anointed to advance. When you see yourself as I see you, you will walk without the fear of rejection, without fear of failure, without fear of being wounded, because you will know that you stand upon a rock no storm can sweep away. The winds swirling around you are not winds of chaos. They are winds of transition. You hear them as small stirrings within your soul, but they are signaling something greater. I am breathing into your life the unmistakable breath of a beginning. You are about to step through doors I held closed until the perfect moment, neither early nor late. I led you through every valley so that the strength you have now is enough to sustain what you are about to receive. Some step into the new while they are still frail, and the new overwhelms them. I will not allow that to happen to you. You are not entering revelation with a troubled mind, but with a quieted spirit. You are not stepping forward with a wounded heart, but with a healed and sharpened one. You are not moving in fear, but in the awareness that you are protected on every side. I saw how you waited even when you saw no sign, and that very expectation unlocked what I held in my hands. I heard the prayers you whispered when your voice trembled because you were unsure if hope was still possible. I watched you keep walking when your legs wanted to stop. I saw the moments when you looked up at the sky and asked, "Lord, are you still here, and my child?" I have been there every single day, not once withdrawing from your life, not once overlooking your breath. And now is the time when I will answer you unmistakably, not only within your spirit, but in the tangible reality of your life. What I am preparing is not merely to fix what broke, it is to restore the identity you thought had faded. What I am opening is not just a door, it is an entire path. What I am doing is not only responding to a prayer, it is renewing the entire framework of your life so you can move forward without dragging the chains of your past. The peace you feel is my first confirmation. The sudden clarity in your mind is the second. The unexpected lightness in matters that once troubled you is the third. These signs are not coincidental. They are my whisper, you are ready. This season is not here to test your heart anymore. It is here to glorify mine through your life. What I reveal will not only change you, it will shift the atmosphere of everyone who steps into your space. They will sense something different without being able to explain it. It is not you shining, it is my glory resting upon you. It is not your strength, it is my power covering you. It is not your confidence, it is my presence making you unshakable. You are entering a realm of sacred fulfillment, no longer waiting with tears, but seeing with your own eyes what you have long sensed in your spirit. No longer hoping in uncertainty, but living in manifestation. No longer searching for signs, but walking in assurance. This is the moment when you must stand firm, not by emotion, but by awareness, not by logic, but by the companionship of my spirit. My beloved, you may think you are merely changing emotionally, but I declare this is not a momentary shift. This is a complete restructuring of your inner being. I am turning your once weak places into foundations of strength. I am transforming your fearful places into reservoirs of courage. I am building within you an inner framework strong enough to carry the weight of the blessings I will soon place in your hands. You are not imagining the widening of your soul day by day. It is because I am expanding your capacity. So what I give will not only be full, it will be sustainable. In recent days, you have found yourself less dependent on the voices around you. You are no longer easily swayed by people's opinions. You no longer anchor your worth in their praise or their criticism. You no longer rush toward external validation. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You no longer let old wounds dictate your decisions. My child, this is not self-training. This is the first fruit of my liberation of your soul from the invisible chains that weighed on you for years. You did not know how long you lived with that heaviness, because you became familiar with it the way someone becomes familiar with their own shadow. But I, who see to the deepest layers of your being, have been removing it thread by thread, weight by weight, burden by burden. You think you are simply a bit lighter, but in truth, you are stepping into the space of freedom, a freedom that does not come from circumstances but from my presence within you. I want you to pause and look carefully at what is changing inside you. Your faith is no longer fragile. You no longer trust me based on expectation. You trust me based on recognition. You no longer believe in me because you want something good. You believe because you know I am good. You no longer trust me to avoid pain. You trust me because you understand that even pain is part of the journey I use to deepen your heart. This shift is the first turning point required for you to enter what I have ordained. If your faith rested on circumstances, then circumstances could shake it. But when your faith rests on me, nothing on earth can move it. I see the moments when your heart strangely widens in the face of things that should have frightened you. You do not understand why you stand calm in situations that once terrified you. You cannot explain why you can now forgive those whom you once could not even bear to think about. You do not know how you started seeing everything with greater gentleness, depth, and grace. You think perhaps you are tired and have no strength left to be angry, but I say these are the signs of growth. You are not growing weaker, you are growing wiser. You are not hardening, you are maturing. You are not becoming numb, you are being healed. When a soul is healed, it no longer needs to shout to be heard, no longer needs to fight to be understood, no longer needs to argue to prove its worth. It stands firm without causing noise. It is quiet, yet powerful. It is humble, yet never fragile. This new stillness within you is the evidence that I am bringing you into a depth you have never walked in before. Know this, what I am doing to you now is not for you alone. It is the foundation for you to become a bearer of light, one I will use to touch those who wear a strong exterior but carry deep wounds inside. Just as you once did. You are not being healed simply to live lightly. You are being healed to become an instrument of comfort. You are not being set free simply to rest. You are being set free to become a living testimony that I can break every inner chain. The maturity you are experiencing will become a wordless message, and those who draw near to you will sense something they cannot explain. They will feel peace around you, not because of what you say, but because my presence is within you, flowing from you, and spreading through you. My child, as I lead you deeper into this rebuilding, you will feel a shift in the way you see the future. You will no longer look at what lies ahead with worry, but with a quiet expectancy. You will no longer hope for good things the way a person clings to their last thread of hope, but the way someone waits with certainty for what they know will surely come. You will realize that your anticipation no longer springs from lack, but from the awareness that I am guiding you on the right path. The dark thoughts that once disturbed you will retreat like shadows pushed back by dawn. You will no longer be haunted by the warnings of the past. You will no longer be bound by the painful memories that once made you shrink. You will no longer be a prisoner of the pessimism others planted into your mind. You will stand in your tomorrow with the posture of one who has been freed from everything that once hindered your steps. I know you still have moments of hesitation, moments when you wonder whether what I have spoken is truly coming or merely a desire of your own heart. But I tell you clearly, your soul cannot produce on its own the profound transformation you are experiencing. A wounded heart cannot heal itself. A soul pulled down by years of heaviness cannot suddenly become stable and strong. A person who once feared their past cannot, in a moment, see that past as part of a journey of maturity, unless I have touched the deepest places within you. Do not doubt what I am doing simply because your eyes have not yet seen it. My greatest works always begin in silence. The seed of life forms in silence. The roots of a tree go deep in silence. Dawn arrives without announcement. Prayers are answered long before you realize you have been heard. My beloved, what I am doing to you now is preparing you for places you never believed you could stand. Responsibilities you once thought your strength could not endure, and opportunities you once imagined belong to others, but not to you. You are not going there by your own effort. I am carrying you there. You are not opening the path. I am opening it. You do not need to strive to be chosen. You have already been chosen. Your only task is to keep your heart open, to keep letting me lead, to keep allowing me to place more strength, more stability, and more clarity within you. I am preparing you not only to step into blessing, but to live inside that blessing without losing your balance, your humility, or the purity of your spirit. And I say this, what is happening inside you is the evidence that what is outside you is about to open, like a seed bursting within before the stem breaks through the soil surface, like a child growing in the womb before the first cry is heard, like underground waters filling to the brim before breaking upward. You have entered that moment, the moment when inward renewal becomes the first signal of outward unveiling. My child, there are moments in a spiritual journey when a soul is no longer just a place that receives, but becomes a place that reveals. You are standing in such a moment. From here on, everything I nurtured in secret within you, the tears shed in silent nights, the prayers whispered into the dark, the times you chose to trust me when you had not a single sign to hold on to all of it, is forming a new voice inside you. A voice with weight, even when soft. A voice born not from reasoning, but from the depths of encounter between you and me in the shadows. That encounter has changed you in a way that cannot be undone. You will never return to your old way of seeing, because you have touched a truth that nothing in this world can erase. I was there even when you felt abandoned. I was working even when you saw nothing. I was guiding you even when you saw only darkness at your feet. Pay attention to what is blooming in your spirit, an awakening you did not create. A peace not born from circumstances. A strength even you cannot explain. You no longer try to convince yourself that things will be fine. You know it with an unshakable certainty, not a certainty that comes from knowledge, but from my presence, etched into every corner of your soul. I have inscribed one declaration within you: you belong to me, and I care for you. When you passed through the deepest shadows without being swallowed, that was proof I held you. When you rose from what nearly crushed you, that was proof I lifted you. When a nameless strength rose up within you when you thought you had nothing left, that was proof I breathed life into you. You do not step into this new chapter by effort. You step into it by evidence, evidence that I have acted. The silence you are living in now is not the silence of loneliness. It is the stillness of heaven before revelation. Like the sea becoming calm before a great wave rises. Like the forest falling quiet before a new wind blows. Your soul stands in a hush that signals something immense is near. You can sense it but cannot yet name it. You feel as though you are standing before a wide doorway but cannot see inside. Your waiting no longer feels weary. It has become a peaceful posture, like one who knows their call is approaching. That peace does not come from you, it comes from me. For I know the moment is ripe, and you are only one step away from seeing with your eyes what has lived in your soul as a thin breath for so long. As I bring you to this threshold, I do not only intend to give you blessing, I want to crown you with the recognition of who you truly are. You are no longer one who walks through darkness. You are one who carries light. You are no longer one seeking validation. You are one validated by me. You are no longer one collecting the broken pieces of the past. You are one stepping out of the past with empty hands, ready for what is new. I am placing you in a position where what once wounded you will no longer have power over you. Not because those things disappear, but because you have become greater than them. Not because you outran them, but because you rose above them. Not because you hardened, but because you were remade. You are no longer quick to anger at injustice, no longer shaken by criticism, no longer searching for approval from those who cannot see your worth, no longer afraid of big steps, no longer startled by an unseen future. These changes are not apathy, they are signs you have been lifted into a new atmosphere. On that higher plane, the noise of the world grows faint. The old fears lose their grip, and the worries that once weighed on you no longer find a place to lodge. You are being placed inside an atmosphere of holiness, where I will speak things that only hearts refined by fire can hear. You are being prepared to become someone who does not merely live by blessing, but lives by presence. I declare this to you with solemnity. The time of standing in the shadows has come to an end. Not because you stepped out in your own strength, but because I am leading you out. Not because you sought to be seen, but because I want you to be seen. Not because you wished to be known, but because I desire to bear witness through your life. The years I kept you in hidden places were never meant to fade you out. They were the time I used to plant within you what cannot be formed in noise: steadfastness, purity, discernment, endurance, and, above all, a deep sensitivity to my voice. Now that these things have taken shape in you, you no longer need to chase after doors. The doors will open and come to you. What is coming is not a small adjustment. It is a change of season that will cause every old layer to fall away. You will feel as though you are no longer the person of your previous season, not because your personality has altered, but because your soul has risen to another level. You will find yourself standing before things you once believed were too great for you, and yet now they will seem perfectly within reach for the hands I uphold. You will see what once discouraged you become as small as dust. You will see the words I placed in your heart gradually become reality, little by little, like the dawn rising until every shadow has vanished. In the coming days, you will realize that you no longer struggle to keep your balance. You will stand firm naturally. You will no longer strain to believe. Trust will flow like water from a spring. You will no longer search for signs. You will become a sign. You will no longer have to prove anything. My presence in you will be proof enough. The world may not understand, but those with spiritual eyes will recognize this is the Lord at work. You are about to step out of hiding and into unveiling. No more silence. No more obscurity. No more standing at the margins. I am bringing you into the light, not so you can display yourself, but so I can reveal myself. Not so you may be praised, but so my name may be exalted. Not so you can boast, but so my heart may be seen through your life. My beloved child, you are entering a phase where everything I have been quietly constructing in your soul will begin to translate into visible movement in the world around you. This is not merely a time of change, it is a time of rising. You will no longer feel as though you are only hoping or waiting. Instead, you will recognize that every step you take now sends a resonance into the spiritual realm, as though the very ground were answering you. This is not because you possess some special power, but because you are walking in alignment with the intention I have for you. That alignment will keep you from wavering between choices, from confusion at crossroads, from fear of the unexpected. You will walk as one who knows that every movement has been prepared in advance, and that I myself am the one going before you. You will no longer live with the sense of always waiting a little longer. You are shifting into the posture of one who is beginning to see what you once only sensed in your spirit, beginning to experience doors opening naturally without your pushing, beginning to feel an invisible yet solid assurance in the decisions you make. You will notice the hesitation in your heart dissolving like dew under the morning sun, not because you have grown more self-confident, but because I have placed within you a new awareness of who you are in me. You are no longer the one standing on the fringes. You are the one I am bringing into the center of what I am doing. My beloved, I want you to remember that every previous season has done something crucial. It has made your soul more sensitive to the movements of heaven, sensitive enough to discern when I am closing and when I am opening, sensitive enough to see that what appears random is often a sign I have left for you, sensitive enough to know when to wait and when to move. And now I say clearly, this is a season of moving, not moving out of restlessness, but because the inner prompting within you is ripe, not moving out of fear of missing your moment, but because the moment has come to you like ripe fruit, falling gently into the hand of the one who waits. You will not have to grasp. What I have ordained will find you. It is no accident that the peace inside you has grown more solid than before. Peace is my signature. When I open a way, peace goes before it. And when I nudge you to move, peace wraps itself around you. I know you still hold old questions in your heart. Am I really ready? Am I truly strong enough? Will I be able to walk when everything changes? So quickly I hear every whispered doubt. But I also want you to hear this clearly. You are not walking alone. You are not walking in your own effort. You are walking in the strength I have placed in you. You are not walking by the power of your past. You are walking by the newness I have breathed into your spirit. You are not walking according to your own ability. You are walking under the anointing I have poured upon your forehead. What you are about to experience is not the natural outcome of your striving. It is the fruit of a divine intervention planned long ago in the secret chambers of heaven. The very things that once made you hesitate are now becoming the very things you feel compelled to step into. Your mind is no longer imprisoned by hidden anxieties. You are beginning to see clarity where everything once felt tangled. Decisions that used to require long struggles will become simple, because your inner being has been aligned with my will. What you once feared losing no longer seems as important. What you once deemed impossible now stands as near as a doorway you need only reach out and touch. I declare you are entering the season of first steps, steps that are not loud, yet weighty, not flashy, yet influential, not rushed, yet full of momentum. Like the first raindrops of a new rainy season touching the ground, gentle yet unmistakable. So your first steps will be soft but undeniable. Small yet opening up great change. Slow yet utterly certain. These steps will begin to shift the atmosphere of your own life. And soon, others will look at you and say, "This person has completely changed." Not changed because circumstances forced it, but because I have transformed the inner space within you. You will begin to walk with a steadiness that cannot go unnoticed. In this season, I will take you to places where I once held you back, not because you were unworthy, but because you were not yet strong enough to carry the weight those places demanded. Just as a young bird cannot yet fly through storms, I kept you in the nest until your wings were wide and strong enough to soar without being thrown down by the wind. Now your wings are strong not in the way the world celebrates, but in the way I see strong in humility, strong in gentleness, strong in discernment, strong in inner stability. This is the kind of strength I can use to bring you into spaces you never imagined you would enter. Everything I have spoken over you is beginning to take shape even now. Not tomorrow, not next month, not in some vague future, but in the very breath you are taking. Doors will open, not with crashing noise, but with such unexpected smoothness that you will quietly say, "Lord, you truly prepared this long ago." The people I send will not arrive with spectacle. They will come naturally, as though they had always belonged in your story. Solutions to the dead ends you once faced will come like water flowing over stone, gentle yet unstoppable. You will know it is me because these things will not carry the strain of forcing. They will carry the fragrance of peace. My beloved child, as you go deeper into this season of beginning that I have opened, you will see that every step you take is no longer merely the movement of one person, but a sacred motion, like the first surge of water, carving a path through earth that has been pressed down for too long, finally meeting the light. What I am doing for you at this time is no longer preparation alone, it is activation. No longer only inner adjustment, but outward acceleration. No longer just a whisper in your spirit, but clear confirmation through circumstances, through people, through signs, through movements that only the attentive will recognize. And you, my child, have learned to see with those attentive eyes. Have you noticed that in these recent days, everything around you seems to fall into order, not the kind of order you achieve through effort, but the kind of order that comes from divine orchestration? Things that once felt scattered are now beginning to align effortlessly. Thoughts that used to create noise in your mind are becoming clear, like spring water. Worries that once kept you awake no longer reach the core of your soul. This is not because you have become indifferent, but because your spirit has learned to move in harmony with the frequency of the peace I have planted within you. I have made you sensitive to the smallest movements in the spiritual atmosphere. And now you are beginning to distinguish between my voice, the voice of fear, the voice of your past, and the voice of temptation trying to pull you back to old places. This discernment not only protects you from wrong steps, it also helps you recognize opportunities you once thought you were unworthy of. When I act, opportunities do not arrive as coincidences, they arrive as certainties. They carry the breath of heaven, the solidity of my will, and the completeness of a plan prepared across many seasons. And the moment you stopped seeking opportunities to prove your worth and sought only me, that was the moment I placed opportunity into your hands. Pay attention to this. You are beginning to feel as though all paths are coming to you, rather than you having to search for a path. The people you need will arrive at the right moment. The words you need will come the instant your heart is ready. The doors you once did not know how to knock on will open by themselves. The dilemmas you wrestled with for years will suddenly become simple. This is not random ease. This is my going before you. I have shifted the wind, rearranged circumstances, aligned details, and touched hearts so that everything converges with the steps you take. You are walking in a corridor of grace that I designed solely for you, a corridor where everything necessary will find you at the appointed time. In this season, the timidity within your soul will be peeled away layer by layer, not because you will become bold by worldly standards, but because you will know you are backed by heaven. When your confidence is placed in me, you will walk without trembling. When you know you are not alone, you will speak without fear. When you know nothing depends on your capability, you will open your heart without fear of being wounded. I am building in you a courage that does not need noise, display, or armor. It is the courage of one who knows they are loved unconditionally, protected from every side, guided step by step. That kind of courage will allow you to stand in places you once only dared to observe from afar. And when you step into new spaces, you will not enter merely as yourself. You will bring with you the atmosphere I have placed within your spirit. People around you will sense it, though they cannot explain it. They will feel peace when you appear. They will feel relief when you speak. They will feel hope when they see your steadiness, not because you are extraordinary in their eyes, but because I am shining through you. You will be the living proof that I am still working in this chaotic world. I will use you as water that refreshes the weary, as a lamp in the dark, as warmth in the cold seasons of another person's life. You will not only step into new places, you will leave the ones you no longer belong to. I will gently close doors you did not dare close, not to strip you of anything, but to free you from what no longer brings life to your soul. You will see certain relationships fade away. You will sense some environments becoming too small for the spirit within you. You will notice old thoughts falling off like autumn leaves. These are signs that you are growing, not upward in stature, but inward in depth, not in knowledge alone, but in heavenly wisdom, not in outward confidence, but in the awareness of who you truly are as I created you. At this moment, I want to reveal something. The small signs you are noticing are confirmations that I am expanding your territory. The clarity in your mind is a sign. The stillness in your heart is a sign. The unexpected harmony between seemingly unrelated events is a sign. The appearance of healthy, good-hearted people is a sign. The fading of things that once held you back is a sign. Together they whisper one message: your time has begun. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to fear missing anything. You do not need to worry that this beauty is temporary. I am not a God who begins something only to abandon it. I do not plant hope only to leave it barren. I do not promise without fulfilling. When I open a season, I sustain it with my own hand. When I open a door, I keep it open until you walk fully through. When I lead you, I carry you to the very place I promised. My beloved child, there are moments in a person's life that are not merely transitions, they are transfers of authority. Not simply changes, they are redefinitions. Not just new phases, they are divine commissioning. When something from my hand is placed into the fabric of your life so you may carry what has long been prepared for you. And now, you are standing within such a moment when the spiritual atmosphere thickens like morning mist on a mountain peak, where each breath you take carries a trace of heaven leaning near. Do you feel it? Do you sense the unfamiliar weight in the air? Do you feel your heart stretching to receive what your past was never strong enough to hold? Listen, child, what I am about to tell you is not gentle comfort. It is a powerful confirmation of your role in this new season. You have lived years believing no one saw your worth, thinking you were standing at the edge of other people's stories, imagining yourself as a background character in narratives that did not belong to you. But hear me clearly. Here and now, you were never at the edge. You have always stood at the center of my plan. When others did not see you, I saw you. When they did not understand your journey, I understood. When they did not walk with you, I still held your hand. There has not been a single moment of your life that I have not known, not watched, not loved, not sustained. Before I bring anyone into a season of abundance, I release clarity into their mind like a lamp in the night, and you have begun to see that lamp at work. You look back and suddenly understand why certain people had to leave. You reflect on past failures and recognize they were protection, not humiliation. You remember the tears shed in silence, and now see they were the purification of old layers in your heart. This clarity is the sign that your season is truly turning. No longer a distant promise, no longer a fragile hope, no longer a wish whispered into the wind. This is reality breaking open like the almond tree blossoming early. As Jeremiah 1:12 says, I watch over my word to fulfill it. And you, yes, you are standing in the midst of that blossoming. What I am preparing for you is not a small change meant to bring temporary comfort. No, my child, I do not work in half measures. When I open a season, I open it fully. When I touch a life, I do not merely change circumstances, I transform the heart. You are about to experience what you prayed for in the quietest hours, a resurrection of your inner world. You will find joy returning, the joy you thought had slipped away forever. You will feel the breath of freedom rushing through the deepest parts of your soul. You will feel peace seeping into the cracks left by years of pain. And the most beautiful part is this: you will know this resurrection did not come from ease, but from my presence. In this season, I will not only give you what you need, I will give you what I wrote into your future from the beginning. This is not based on merit, but on my choice. Not on achievements, but on purpose. Not on perfection, but on surrender. You have believed many times that you must be strong enough, wise enough, capable enough to be worthy of the blessings I promised. But here is the truth: blessings do not come because you are worthy, they come because I am faithful. When I have ordained something for you, no one can alter it. No mistake can destroy it. No delay can cancel it. And now, I whisper to you, the time has come. You are about to witness changes in your life so clearly that you will not be able to deny that I am at work. You will see paths become unmistakably clear. You will see the right people appear at the right time. You will feel burdens you thought you'd carry forever lift, as though an unseen hand removed them. You will watch limitations melt away like morning fog before the sun. I will surprise you in ways you could never imagine. You will go to sleep troubled and wake up in peace. You will enter the day heavy-hearted and return with unusual lightness. These are not random emotions, they are signs of divine intervention. True transformation does not come with thunder, it comes through quiet, persistent movements within the soul. You will begin to feel a strange strength rising in you, not a strength that makes you harsh or proud, but a strength that enables you to stand firm without needing to speak, to walk forward without explaining yourself, to love without conditions, to forgive without requiring an apology. These expressions are not changes in your personality, They are the marks of my spirit spreading through you. People will notice the difference but will not be able to explain it. They will only know that when you appear. The atmosphere shifts because you carry the life I am pouring into you. From this moment on, pay close attention to the words I place in your heart, for they are no longer ordinary thoughts. They are whispers of guidance. They are light appearing on your path. They are the leading of my spirit. Do not disregard the holy intuition I plant within you. Do not ignore the gentle nudges I give. These are the keys that will lead you to the places I want you to reach. And as you follow them, you will see an unusual ease, as if everything has already been prepared ahead of you. Child, you are no longer walking in a vague season of waiting. You are stepping into unmistakable fulfillment. This season is no longer prophecy, it is reality. No longer expectation, it is experience. No longer promise, it is completion. You have arrived here because of your faithfulness, and it is that very faithfulness that has opened the way for the unveiling now settling upon your life. My beloved, as you enter the final stretch of this long journey I have led you through, a sacred hush rests over the space around you, not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of completion. Like the moment before dawn tears open the night, when everything seems to hold its breath, not in fear, but in anticipation of what is about to break forth, your soul now stands in a purity it has never known before, the purity of one about to step into the fullest manifestation of my word. Do you feel your spirit becoming sharper these days? Do you sense the deep stillness in your heart? As though an invisible hand has rested upon your chest, not to restrain you, but to tell you to pause and truly witness this moment. That is not emotion, my child. It is heaven honoring the threshold you are crossing. Everything I have spoken over you has not been mere comfort, nor simple guidance, nor scattered promises. They have been stones laid on your path, mirrors to help your soul discern direction, breaths of life to keep your faith burning when you thought your flame had gone out. This part VI is the place where everything converges, like streams merging into a mighty river that flows toward the sea. This is where you not only see what I have done, but understand why I have done it. This is where you not only enter the promise, but become one who carries that promise to others. And this is where I place a new anointing upon you, not only to restore you, but to commission you. I know there were days when you looked back and could not believe you made it through the wounds that tried to break you. Nights when the slightest noise could make your heart collapse. Seasons when you believed you had wasted years, that your mistakes ruined your future, that being overlooked was your destiny. That pain was proof I was distant. But now you see, and I want you to keep remembering, that not one tear fell without me catching it. Not one wound was too deep for me to touch. Not one dead end existed without me knowing how to carve a way through it. Nothing you lived through was meant to destroy you. It was meant to form you into someone capable of carrying what I am preparing. No trial was meaningless. No delay was a failure in the system. No silence was abandonment. Every part of it was a process. Now, that process is no longer hidden. It is revealing itself, not loudly, but deeply, steadily, layer by layer. You will notice that my presence is no longer a fleeting flash, but a radiance that surrounds you. You will see me in the clarity of your thoughts, in the steadiness you show in situations that once made you tremble, in the calmness you carry into places where you once felt drained. You will see me in the doors that open smoothly without any forcing, in the invitations you never expected, in the spiritual rebuilding you no longer have strength to do on your own. All these are signs that you have entered the formation stage of the miracle. The seed is no longer in the soil, the sprout has emerged. The sprout is no longer fragile. The stem now stands firm. The stem is no longer uncertain, the roots have gone deep, and the roots no longer fear, for they know my hand surrounds them. I do not want you merely to receive blessing, I want you to step out of the old image of yourself, the image of one who questioned their worth, who doubted their path, who forced themselves to be strong, who feared being forgotten. You are no longer the one who stays behind the door, nor the one who waits outside, nor the one who hopes for something small. You are stepping into the identity I wrote for you before the foundations of the earth, one who stands upright, one who shines, one who carries spiritual authority I placed within you long before you had the language to name me. This is not a small shift. This is the restoration of identity. I am giving back what circumstances suffocated, what people's words dimmed, what fear buried you are the one I have chosen. And when you know this, everything around you will begin to change, not because the world changes for you, but because you step into truth, and the world must adjust accordingly. You will go into places you once felt unworthy to even imagine. You will speak words you once feared no one would listen to. You will make decisions you once believed you had no right to make, not because the circumstances suddenly favor you, but because your spirit has ascended to a new level. When the spirit shifts, vision shifts. When vision shifts, the atmosphere shifts. When the atmosphere shifts, circumstances must follow. My child, in this new season, you will no longer be led by fear, but by a peace so strong others will not understand it. This peace does not come from calm surroundings, but from knowing I am there, not the peace of luck, but the peace of confirmation, not the peace of fleeting relief, but the peace of deep-rooted certainty. That peace is the greatest sign that you are standing exactly where I want you. And when that peace rests upon you, you will realize something sacred. Nothing that frightened you in the past has the power to bow your head anymore. No voice that belittled you can bind you. No memory that once choked your heart can rule over you. You passed through the fire, and the fire did not burn you, it illuminated you. As the prophet once declared, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, not because you were strong, but because I held you. If you want, I can continue with the next section in the same tone and structure. My child, as you move deeper into this part of the journey, a subtle yet overwhelmingly powerful shift is taking place around you, as though the sacred atmosphere you now stand in is expanding, pushing away old boundaries and pulling you into the very center of what I have prepared. Do you sense it? Not with natural eyes, but with the new vision that has been awakened in you, where your spiritual intuition has grown sharper than at any other point in your life. You are stepping into a stage where revelation no longer comes through vague signals. It unfolds distinctly, like dawn breaking through the night. From here on, you will not only hear my voice, you will see what I am doing. This is the moment when the things that once operated silently in the unseen realm begin rising to the surface. This is the moment when the underground streams of grace turn into a flowing river. This is the moment when the words I planted in your heart years ago, words you once believed would remain forever as comfort, now become reality. Touching your hands, filling your eyes, you will feel as if everything in your life suddenly becomes alive, not emotionally alive, but alive with divine arrangement. Every meeting, every door, every message, every small detail in your day will carry my imprint, as though the whole universe is leaning toward you without any effort from your part. I know there were moments in your past when you stood at a crossroads, unsure which way to turn. afraid that one wrong decision would collapse everything. But now you will experience something entirely different. You will feel your soul being drawn in the right direction, not by force, but by a deep inner agreement. That is the leading of my Spirit. You will no longer be caught between countless options. You will know clearly what belongs to you and what is merely noise. I do not guide you through confusion. I guide you through clarity. And that clarity is the path I am opening before you, not wide in appearance, but wide in purpose. My beloved, the dreams you buried in disappointment, the desires you dismissed for fear of ridicule, the deepest longings you locked away because you thought you were unworthy, these are all being awakened again, not to make you regret, but to reveal that the time has come. You thought they had vanished, but they merely slept in the soil, waiting for this very season to rise. As the prophet Micah once declared, "Though I fall, I will rise, though I sit in darkness. The Lord will be my light." The spirit of that word is now active in you, not as theory, but as power. Before I open the doors around you, I open the doors within you. Before I shift the atmosphere surrounding your life, I shift the atmosphere inside your heart. That has already happened. You have begun to think differently, feel differently, hope differently, believe differently, not because you forced yourself to change, but because my Spirit has been working within you gently, irresistibly. This is the first sign that what I promised is reaching the borders of your life. No inner transformation happens without purpose. It is always evidence that something greater is coming. In this heavenly season, I am not only lifting you up, I am covering you in a very particular way. You will notice that the attacks which once exhausted you no longer touch you as they did. You will feel as if an invisible garment rests upon your soul, not a rigid armor, but a soft mantle drenched in power, not to make you fight like the world fights, but to help you stand firm in the strength of heaven. You will hear the judgments of others without being wounded. You will remember old stories without reliving the pain. You will face new challenges without discouragement, not because you have become numb, but because my grace has washed away the fears that once ruled you. From this moment, I will cause you to meet the right people, not the kind the world calls luck, but divine alignments orchestrated by my hand. I will send into your life those who bring healing, not condemnation, those who see your potential, not your past, those who lift, not drain, those who speak truth with love, not manipulation. I have removed from your life the voices that made you shrink back, not to make you lonely, but to surround you with hearts fit for the call I am bringing you into. Do not be surprised when certain doors close suddenly, even in this season of blessing. Those doors are not closing to punish you, but to protect you from things that look good but are not yours. This is not the season of walking through any door, it is the season of walking through the right door. You do not need to break anything open. I am opening the correct one. And when I open it, you will step through as lightly as breath, not with fear, but with certainty, not with confusion, but with serenity. In the coming days, you will feel a kind of holy stretching, not the draining pressure that wears you down, but the expansion that tells your soul it is growing. Just as old wineskins cannot hold new wine, I am enlarging you to contain something greater. You will feel yourself becoming steadier, deeper, sharper, more peaceful. None of this comes from self-improvement. It comes from my hand resting upon you. You are no longer standing at the threshold of the miracle. You have entered it. Not about to happen, but happening now. You are in the divine spiral of fulfillment, where every movement carries the precision of heaven's plan. You will recognize it when events align in ways that no logic can explain, not coincidence, but divine intention. My beloved child, as you take your steps into this final stretch, heaven leans near, as though the entire invisible realm has paused to witness the completion of a journey you have lived through, breath by breath, tear by tear, faith by faith, obedience by obedience. There are moments in a person's life that bear the mark of beginnings, and moments that bear the mark of culmination. But the moment you stand in now is not one or the other. It is the sacred intersection of both, where endings bloom into beginnings, where pain unfolds into purpose, where night yields to dawn, and where the silence of waiting pours into the joy of fulfillment. All of this is happening over your life right now. If in the past seasons you walked by faith, then, in this season, you will walk by conviction. If before you had to close your eyes to believe, now you will open your eyes and see. I have carried you through valleys where the enemy's voice echoed loudly, through deserts of waiting and the feeling of abandonment, through forests where shadows clung to your thoughts, and I have brought you here into the wide land of fulfillment, where the breath of peace touches every corner of your spirit, where you begin to understand why each past trial existed on your path. Nothing happened outside of purpose, and now you see the thread running through everything that once troubled your heart. Each piece was part of a larger design I sketched from the beginning. See your life in this moment as a field that has turned golden, no longer the plowed soil of painful breaking, no longer the silent seeds buried in darkness, no longer the fierce winds that bent you low. This is the harvest time of your soul, not a harvest of earthly gain, but of what I planted deep within you through the years: endurance, wisdom, stillness, maturity, holiness. For before I cloak you with outward blessings, I must ensure that the inner space within you is wide enough to contain what I will pour out. That is why these past years felt severe, when in truth they were the years I was enlarging your spiritual capacity. Remember, you have not been brought here merely to witness the miracle. You have been brought here to carry the miracle. What I am doing for you in this season is not meant to stop at personal restoration. It will flow through you like living water to those who are dry around you. You once believed you were being diminished by your wounds, but in truth I was opening your heart in ways you never imagined. Those who come near you in the days ahead will sense a new vitality, not because you try to appear strong, but because my spirit is shining through you. You will speak little but touch deeply. You will walk softly, yet be influenced greatly. You will stand still, yet shift the atmosphere of the room. You will become evidence that I still work wonders, that I still heal, that I still stand with those who place their hearts in my hands. From this day forward, you must walk as one who is sent, not as one seeking approval. You no longer need to stand outside the gate waiting for someone to open it. I am the one who opens the gate. You do not need to prove your worth. Your worth has been sealed by my own hand. You do not need to fear being forgotten. Your name is written into the story I am unfolding. You do not need to strive to be seen. The light I place on you will shine by itself. I have lifted you out of the shadows where you once thought you would remain hidden. And now, as I once declared through Isaiah, arise, shine, for your light has come. My child, that light is resting upon you now. In the days ahead, you will begin to witness something marvelous. Everything that once opposed you will suddenly align. Not because those things have changed, but because I have changed your position. The rejections that once wounded you will lose their power. The doors that once slammed shut will open without you knocking. The fears that once paralyzed you will melt like morning mist under the rising sun. This is not temporary fortune. This is intentional design. I am placing you into the right hands, the right rooms, the right environments where you can live fully in the mission I have written over you. Nothing from the old season has authority to hold you anymore. Not old memories, not old mistakes, not old judgments, not old curses, not old delays. You no longer belong to darkness or confusion. You belong to light and purpose. When I declare you free, every chain must fall. When I declare you restored, every fracture must give way to wholeness. When I declare you lifted, no one can pull you down. You are not defined by where you have been, but by where I am taking you. And, my child, I am with you, not as a distant companion, but as a present guide, not cheering from afar, but holding you close at every step, not as an invisible deity, but as one who knows your name, your pain, your tears, your longings, your strengths, your limits, and still chooses you. You are not entering the new season alone. You enter it with me. I go before you, and you follow. I protect you, and you rest. I open the way, and you advance. I speak, and you stand firm. My child, your season has come. No more waiting. No more hanging in uncertainty. No more fragility. No more hoping in the dark. This is the moment you step into the fullness I have prepared. This is the moment you become what I have ordained. This is the moment the promise becomes reality. This is the moment dawn breaks forth. This is the moment you walk upon the land I promised long ago. Take a deep breath and step in, for I, the Lord your God, am going before you, leading you into the season of fulfillment. Thank you for listening to today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue receiving the living word together, building an unshakable faith, and walking in the boundless love of God. Amen.